celebrating the connection with our pets. This is Animal Radio, featuring your dream team, veterinarian Dr. Debbie White and groomer Joey Villani. And here are your hosts, Hal Abrams and Judy Francis.
Okay, here's the number. Toll free, 1-866-405-8405. We'd love to hear from you today. If you have a question about your pet, Dr. Debbie can answer your vet medical questions, and dog father Joey Villani with your grooming questions. And on the show today, actress Kim Sill is back. Didn't we just have her on?
Yeah, she was on probably about 6 months ago or so.
She was the one that went undercover with a camera to like some puppy mills.
Mm-hmm. Saved in America was the name of
the
film.
Film. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I know what you're talking about.
So she's up to something new, huh?
She's amazing. She's really an asset to the animals.
Okay, so we're going to talk about her new project called Shelter Hope Pet Shop. And
she thinks nationally and globally. She doesn't think in the box. She
has great ideas.
She does.
She really makes a difference for the animals. So we'll be glad to have her. And you know what? I got to thank you very much because, you had Prince Lorenzo Borghese on a couple of weeks back, and I asked you to make it a little fair, give something for Joey and me to
see. I do it.
Very, very attractive Kim Sill.
And I have to say, I think there's more attractive women on the show than there is attractive men, so I got to get on that. We need Josh Duhamel back. And
you know what makes them really attractive, though, is their love for the animals.
Yes, that's true.
So important. We'll head to the phones in just a couple of seconds. Joey Villani, what do you got on the show today?
Sap. I have sap. Okay?
Sap? You mean like sticky sap?
Tree sap. How to take tree sap out of your dog without having to cut its coat away.
You can't use Gooby Gone, huh? No.
Actually, you can just to hope that your pet don't have a reaction.
Yeah, it is kind of chemical-y.
Yeah,
so.
Don't take that
Okay,
chance.
so we'll have to wait and find out what Joey's cure for sap is right here on Animal Radio. Lori Brooks in the newsroom, what are you working on for this hour?
Well, we're going to tell you about a dog who's had 3 strikes against him. One of them being that he's a 3-legged dog, and he just keeps saving the lives of his family members. It's like he can't help it. Very cute story.
Okay, that's on the way in just a few minutes. Also, Doc Halligan will be back on the show today. Tomorrow's Valentine's Day. Just let it sit in for you guys.
Yeah, if you forgot.
Yeah. You're all panicking right now.
We're giving you a warning.
Now, I saw the candy hearts on your desk this morning.
No, I stole them.
I was going to say, where are they now?
I stole them because I'm going to bring them to my wife because I forgot it's Valentine's Day.
So you're running around the office grabbing up all the candy on everyone's
whatever
desk.
I can get. Yep, I put it in a bag.
You're in trouble.
Your animals could be in trouble, too, and that's what Doc Halligan's going to be talking about is Valentine hazards. Because, yes, there are Valentine hazards. Let's go to the phones first for your call. Toll-free, 1-866-405-8405. And don't forget, you can also ask your questions from the free Animal Radio app for iPhone and Android. And it's free because Drs. Foster's and Smith make it that way. So download it now. Hey, Anthony, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. Where are you calling from today?
I'm calling from Huntington Beach.
L.A. Is it beautiful? Has it dried out?
Orange County, yes.
Has it dried out? I know you got a lot of rain.
Oh, we have dried out. It's really, really windy.
Windy. I hate wind.
Very, very windy. Yeah, my allergies is acting up very, very much.
You sound a little bit like you have some allergies there. But hopefully we can help you. I have Dr. Debbie and Joey Villani here, both to help you for whatever problem you have.
I have some concerns. I have a Pomeranian, which is also a Chihuahua mix, and I have a Chihuahua. And my wife's oncologist had told her that she needed to get a little animal to keep her mind occupied because I was always working. So we got the Pomeranian, and we took him to the dentist to have his teeth cleaned. So they put him to sleep. So my concern is because when we found a dentist closer to us, our veterinarian had said it's not a good idea to put the animal to sleep. But yet, every Thursday, the veterinarian that I do go to that is close to my home, they put the animal to sleep to do dentist work. So I'm concerned about that.
Okay, all right. So your dog needs a dental cleaning and they've advised it? Or is that where you're at with this?
Well, I try to keep up on, getting his teeth cleaned and also the Chihuahua. So okay. I have yet to take my dog to my normal veterinarian to have his teeth cleaned because I'm concerned about him being put to sleep. He has quite a few health problems. He's 9 years old. He had kidney stones. He had 40 kidney stones.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
so
I think I'm understanding. So when we talk about dental cleaning and dental care, there are different tiers of that. So there's home level care where we brush our dog's teeth, or we use wipes, and that's home care. There's what some groomers will do. If you take your dog to the groomer, they'll brush the teeth, and they're basically doing the same thing you would do at home.
Right.
There's another type of dental care that is done usually at groomers' offices or professionals who do cleaning with an animal awake. And this is oftentimes done because people are afraid of anesthesia.
Right.
And it's a solution I think a lot of people look to. And sometimes the fear of anesthesia can drive us to do things that we think are in the pet's best interest and aren't always. But the true way that we do a dental cleaning is where you go to the veterinary office and they put your pet under anesthesia, general anesthetic, and the teeth are scaled either by hand scaling or an ultrasonic scaler, and then they're polished. And that's a very important process. So just to describe a little bit about that, when we scale teeth, we do create etching in the teeth. You know, it damages the enamel, so we do have to do a polish. So some of these things are hard to do in a pet that's awake, that someone's just taking a scraper and scraping on the teeth.
Well, I believe that because I tried to get the polish and tried to do it myself with the toothbrush, and both of my dogs were not having it at all.
Yeah, it can be tough. And the other thing that with what they call these awake dental cleanings, that I'll come on the record, I'm firmly opposed to awake dental cleanings, for a lot of reasons.
Also known as non-anesthesia dental
non-anesthetic dental cleanings, yeah. One is what I just described, is because when we do this, we're etching the teeth if we're using a sharp instrument. You can also cause injury to the gums. But the real reality is that the tooth is just not what we see. That's only about 40% of the actual tooth. The 60% that we don't see that's below the gum line, that's where the nitty-gritty happens. And this is why when we rely on awake dental cleanings, you run the risk that you're getting just a sense that you're making the teeth look better, but you're really not treating the periodontal disease, which is what is the danger to a pet's health, to their kidneys, to their heart. So that being untreated, you really don't do anything other than make yourself feel like you've done something to make the teeth look better. So that's one of the big realities. The other thing is you can't take x-rays on an awake pet. And again, you can't image that lower 60% of the tooth in an awake pet. So you have to have them asleep for that. So for all those reasons, I am firmly opposed to the non-anesthetic dentals. And I'll tell you also, early on in my practice, I had a dog that was almost paralyzed. They were going to their groomer and had someone from California come in, and they did these awake dental cleanings, and the dog actually almost blew out a disc and was paralyzed. So we treated it, and it was just from the restraint where they put them in a towel and hold them still and, forcibly scale their teeth. So dogs, it's a different thing with dogs. We'd love to not have to use anesthesia, but the reality is they don't understand what we're doing, and we have to do it safely and not create pain for them. So, now you raise another question about your dogs having, multiple health problems, and I think that's something that probably only your vet can answer. I can't answer for you, but I will tell you there are often times when I have pets with complicated medical backgrounds where they might have an enlarged heart or a heart murmur, or we're dealing with a respiratory problem or what have you. But in certain instances, if those diseases are well controlled and the risk of going under anesthesia is calculated to be safe, then I proceed with those. But it really takes a little bit more work for an older pet or one with ongoing illness, that you just have to make sure that they check out the heart, that they have a blood panel done, that all of that is giving you that green light that it's an okay thing. Because you don't want teeth to get bad and not be treated. That makes all that stuff worse.
That is so true. I mean, my little dog, he's so unhappy because before, when I tried to get him to do certain things, I would give him a treat. But now the veterinarian said he's not allowed to have any more treats at all. So that's what he has said, because he has hypothyroidism, so he's on medication for that. And then, of course, with every time he yawns, he also coughs a lot. He coughs extremely a lot every time he yawns. So I try to deter him from yawning. I don't know how you can do that with a dog, but every time he yawns, because he tries to catch his breath.
Yeah, and I can tell you, I have a lot of dogs like what you're describing where before I'll even consider putting them under for anesthesia, if they have a coughing problem, a heart problem, kidney problem, I do blood work and I'll do chest x-rays before I'll even talk about it. So it's not something I rush into. It has to be the right decision for that pet. But then once we make that decision, I'm very confident that we can do good for the pet and, help keep them around longer because we're eliminating a lot of bad disease in the mouth.
Now, if a pet has health problems that prohibit it from going under anesthesia for dental cleaning, are there other ways to clean the teeth?
Well, there are some different sprays, but again, those are more just surface. Surface.
So you just don't get it done, is what you're saying?
Yeah. So it really depends on the situation. So I have cats and dogs that sometimes have early stage kidney disease, and one example is we might admit them to the hospital that day, earlier in the day, or maybe the day prior, and we'll put them on intravenous fluids. For a lot of dogs with heart problems, we might monitor their blood pressure during the procedure, or we'll do an EKG in advance where we can check the rhythm of the heart, make sure that they don't have any unforeseen arrhythmias that might create a problem while they're under anesthesia. So there's a lot of science that goes into this. So it really would depend on the pet. And I can tell you, I've only had one dog that I actually did clean its teeth while it was awake, and it was a young dog that had a erratic heart a heart arrhythmia that just really could not be stabilized for anesthesia. But that is pretty much the only dog in 20-some years of practice, so that I can think of.
Thank you so much for even answering my questions. I'm a little relaxed now, so I'll talk it over with the wife and see how she feels about it, because the gentleman that we do go to have his teeth cleaned, he's always so booked, and I'm just concerned we need to keep up on the dental work, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And sometimes a place that's really busy can be a good sign, and sometimes it can be a bad sign. So I will tell you that in February, it's kind of a typical push for dental care, and it's what we call Pet Dental Care Month. And my office, we're really busy because we do throw some specials out there during this time of the year. So while it might be really good time to get some cost savings, you just have to be aware that it could be a little busier at this time.
Glad to know that. Thank you so much.
Hey, Anthony, thanks for listening to the show. We appreciate it. 1-866-405-8405 to reach out to the Dream Team right now. Well, this portion of Animal Radio is underwritten by World's Best Cat Litter. And I'm trying to save money. We're all trying to save money right now. One of the ways I do it is on cat litter. If you're tired of wasting that cashola on giant boxes of litter that don't last, may I suggest World's Best Cat Litter? That's the name of it. It has concentrated power so you use less and get more. You can learn more over at tryworldsbest.com. And thanks, World's Best, for underwriting Animal Radio.
You're listening to Animal Radio. Call the Dream Team now at 1-866-405-8405.
People say less is more. At Red Barn, we think less is better. It's what you won't find that sets our natural premium pet food apart. No byproducts, no corn or soy, no fillers. Just the natural ingredients your pets need to live the healthy life they deserve. Look at the label. We want you to. Red Barn Naturals Pet Food. Simply the best. Find it in your local pet specialty store. Red Barn canned food for cats and dogs is grain and gluten-free.
I am the family dog, and it's that time of year again. The one where pet parents start looking for Fido-friendly hotels and destinations where Fido is welcome. Make no bones about it. Pets are part of the family, and we like to sniff out new places too. And we hate to be turned away, especially when we're on our best behavior. So we won't be left out in the cold. Be sure to pick up a copy of Fido Friendly magazine to find the best hotels and destinations where Fido is always welcome. Go online to FidoFriendly.com and subscribe today.
Recently, Verizon had to use tiny red balls to try to make you think they had a much better network than Sprint. But there's one big thing they left out. The new Sprint LTE Plus network delivers faster download speeds than Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile. While Verizon seems to be focused on tiny balls, Sprint has been obsessively focused on building the network of the future. And to celebrate, Sprint is cutting their rates in half. Switch to Sprint and save 50% on most Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile rates. You get the new Sprint LTE Plus network with faster download speeds than Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile. And we'll even cover your cost to switch, up to $650 per line. Only from Sprint. Better for less.
Claim based on Sprint's analysis of average LTE download speeds using Nielsen NMP data. Speeds may vary. Offer coverage not available everywhere. Excludes taxes, surcharges, add-on, and premium content. Subject to new line port activation fee and credit. See website for eligible plans. Savings through 1/8/18 after pay full amount. Restrictions apply. Buy up your reward card after online registration and phone turn-in.
Hi, this is Anne-Marie Lucas from Animal Precinct in the ASPCA, and when I'm not out busting bad guys for abusing animals, I am home listening to Animal Radio.
You're listening to Animal Radio. Call the Dream Team now at 1-866-405-8405.
It's Animal Radio, celebrating the connection with your pets. Toll free 1-866-405-8405. Just a few minutes, actress Kim Sill will be back with us, telling us about the Shelter Hope Pet Shop. These are pet shops showing up, turning up in malls across America.
In a mall near you, hopefully.
With adoptable animals. These are not puppy mill animals. These are all animals that are generally on death row or need to find a home.
Yeah, at high-kill shelters.
And she'll tell you how you can have one in your city if you don't have one. So that's all in the way right here on Animal Radio. Lori Brooks, what are you doing on the end there? How many animals do you have there in the newsroom? Holy moly, I just looked over. There's a cat on the microphone, a dog on the floor. Wow.
You missed the other cat on the floor. Parker's on my desk, and Jackie is on the floor.
Oh.
Parker's the one who keeps making the noises in my microphone, I'm sure you've heard him.
I've heard him purring, yes.
He rubs on the microphone and then his teeth hits and it goes.
Isn't that great to have our animals here at work, though?
It's a wonderful policy.
Yes.
Everybody should work here.
So what are you working on?
There's a big story in Ohio. Have you heard about this? A dog, a police canine dog, so an officer, and the police officer is retiring, and he wants his dog to retire with him. But the city is saying, no, you have to auction that dog off to the highest bidder. So, yeah, it is just, it's got everybody talking about it, but we will, as Parker walks in front of the microphone, everybody is talking about it. But, this dog raised $60,000 in just one day. I mean, the things that are happening with it are quite amazing.
Well, now, so this dog, it belonged to a retired police officer, and did it go home with a retired police officer every night during its...
Yes, it did.
But it didn't belong to him.
So they want to take it away. That's just
equipment
silly.
That he took home.
Okay, equipment. Because, animals are property according to the law.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
So we'll find out about that in just a few minutes. I see that Petco has dropped their small animal supplier amid a federal probe. Good for Petco, by the way, for doing this. They severed the relationship with a small animal dealer in Pennsylvania amid a federal investigation into where the conditions of the facility were kind of subpar.
Did you see the video?
Well, that's the thing is apparently there was this video that's
I saw it
going viral on the internet. That's what started the investigation of the Holmes Chinchilla Ranch. And some of the substandard conditions, I really don't want to go into it because it really grows in a long list, but one of them was they had a cat, if not more than one cat, roaming free among the hamsters and the chinchillas and other animals.
Terrified the poor little animals.
Yeah. So the video, now get this, I'm not a PETA guy. I rarely get behind PETA. Sometimes I think they make more problems than they solve. But in this case, they sent someone undercover to become an employee at this chinchilla ranch to gather evidence. Mm-hmm. So
that's how they shot the footage?
Yeah. So good for Petco for dropping them. Unfortunately, PetSmart still selling them.
Really?
Yes.
What a difference in those two stores. Have you guys noticed that these days? It's just... They used to be quite the same, and now they are so different.
I do much of my shopping at a local store now, so I try to, because really these Petco nor PetSmart carries the kind of food that I want for my animals.
Well, no, you can't. I don't buy my food there either, but when you walk in, I mean, it seems that Petco, I believe, is more holistically and health-oriented, and PetSmart is kind of more import-oriented with, you know what I mean?
Yes. There's another story that I wanted to bring to your attention before Kim Sill joins us. This is one out of Tokyo. Leave it to those Japanese. They've developed a small device that the company claims that when it's attached to the dog's or cat's neck, it can tell if they're happy or if they're relaxed or if they want to play or if they're annoyed. And you use a smartphone application that links to the device to read it. And currently the device only works when the phone is near the animals. But I think what's interesting is that the Japanese are selling this for about 9,000 yen, $75. I look down at my puppy, I see that tail wagging, I could pretty much tell that
Yeah, if my dog goes and gets the ball, I know he wants to play.
It's free.
Yeah,
okay.
I can
It sounds
tell.
like an expensive mood ring.
That's right, exactly. Everybody trying to get their part of the $60 billion a year pet industry. Okay, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back with news right after this. 1-866-405-8405.
You're listening to Animal Radio. If you missed any part of today's show, visit us at animalradio.com or download the Animal Radio app for iPhone and Android.
Dogs or cats, horse or emu, animals are people too.
Oh, what a beautiful ring! Is it a diamond? A sapphire? A cat? While most owners go for the traditional grave in the backyard or a cremation urn, some owners are having their pets made into jewelry by Life Gem, a company which can turn a doggy into a diamond for about $2,000 to $25,000. There's also Floramorial, a company which makes soil that converts cremated ash into a planting medium to grow a memorial flower. You can even get a huggable plush toy filled with your pet's ashes. It's all just a way of showing that dog is man's best friend, or maybe diamonds are a girl's best friend, or maybe a little of both. I'm Britt Savage for Animal Radio.
Animals are people too. Animal Radio.
You're listening to Animal Radio. Find us at animalradio.com. Log on, learn more.
Hi, this is Doug Ray of the Marshall Tucker Band, and forever you'll always be listening to Animal Radio. Keep loving those pets.
This is an Animal Radio News Update, brought to you by Drs. Foster and Smith Pet Pharmacy, with prescription medications and over-the-counter products like Advantix flea and tick medication delivered right to your door. Learn more at fosterandsmith.com.
I'm Lori Brooks. When an Ohio police officer retired last month after 34 years of service, well, he assumed that his police dog would be retiring right along with him. However, because of a state law in Ohio that requires what is considered to be surplus state property purchased with taxpayer dollars that is valued at over $1,000, well, because of that, Canine Officer Ajax is going to have to be auctioned off to the highest bidder. Ajax has been appraised at $3,500, you see, since he's young and he's got some working years still left in him. But as you would expect, the human officer and the animal-loving public is furious about this. A GoFundMe page was quickly set up when the news broke and started to raise money so that the retired officer could bid for his dog. Well, at last check, over $60,000 had been raised. Extra funds will be given to an organization that provides bullet and stab-proof vests to canine units. By the way, no date has yet been set for Ajax auction. Potential bidders, though, will submit sealed bids, which will then be opened on a certain date when they name that date. But fortunately, the mayor has added a stipulation to the bidding saying it has to be by someone who is a dog handler and is familiar with police canine dogs. A small 15-year-old three-legged dog might not seem like a big threat to you, but this dog named Levi took a bullet for his family in Wisconsin and then saved them from a man who had broken into their home to rob them. Levi was quick to come to the rescue when the robber kept asking, "Where's the safe? Where are the drugs? Where's the money?" And then the dog, who is usually friends with strangers, got, concerned, and he started growling at the robber. A bullet grazed the top of the dog's head and became lodged in his neck, but it wasn't the first time that Levi had seen police officers and emergency medical responders. It was about 5 years ago that he was dog-napped even in the middle of the day, but luckily a neighbor saw him being enticed into a van and took down the license plate number, and then police found him later that same day. And it was just 2 years ago that Levi was walking with his family on some steep hiking trails when he tumbled off the side of a cliff. His owner firmly believes that Levi's falling prevented their children from inadvertently probably plunging off that cliff, too. I'm Lori Brooks. Get more breaking animal news anytime at animalradio.com.
This has been an Animal Radio News Update brought to you by Doctors Foster and Smith Pet Pharmacy. With everyday low prices on products like Quellin and Rimadyl delivered right to your door with a 100% satisfaction guarantee. Learn more at fosterandsmith.com.
Doctors Foster and Smith Pet Supplies have a Vet VIPPS accredited online pharmacy covering all your pet's needs, from heartworm medications and anti-inflammatories like Rimadyl to non-prescription items like Canine Advantix Flea and Tick Preventive. Doctors Foster and Smith has your pet covered. We'll even contact your vet for you, all with a 100% satisfaction guarantee. Low prices every day with free shipping on orders over $49. Shop online at fosterandsmith.com because your pet's health and happiness come first.
Did you know canine caviar diets are formulated with common health concerns in mind, such as diabetes, cancer, and kidney disease? You see, canine caviar uses low GI carbs, which reduce hunger and prolong physical endurance. Free of GMO, gluten, hormones, steroids, and antibiotics. Canine Caviar's 5-star dog and cat foods are the only alkaline-based foods in the world, and that promotes a healthy lifestyle for your furry family. Find out more at caninecaviar.com.
It's Animal Radio. Toll free, 1-866-405-8405. And our little puppies, our animals, our dogs are, they're man's best friend. We know that. And woman's best friend. They sleep with you. They cuddle with you. They're always there giving you unconditional love. And now they're doing even more. They're helping scientists discover maybe ways to cure cancer in all across the country. And in fact, we have right now Arlene Weintraub. Hi, Arlene. How are you doing?
Great. How are you?
Your book called Heal, The Vital Role of Dogs in the Search for Cancer Cures just came out. Looking at it, it looks like a great read. I'm just about to pick it up and look inside. But tell me, what will I find inside the book?
Well, my book is about many different ways dogs are helping in the fight against cancer. A lot of people don't know this, but dogs develop many of the same types of cancers that people get, including breast cancer, lymphoma, osteosarcoma, and they're now being recruited into clinical trials for new therapies that could end up helping both pets and people.
Well, how similar are they to humans as far as that goes?
Well, some types of tumors are so similar that scientists can't even really tell the difference when they look at them under a microscope. Melanoma is a good example of that. Dogs get exactly the same melanoma that we get, and have been very important in helping scientists make new discoveries.
Now, do cats fall into the same category?
Cats are also involved in this field of research, which is called comparative oncology. Cats actually get a form of breast cancer, mammary cancer, I should say, that's very similar to triple-negative breast cancer in women, which is the hardest type of breast cancer to cure. And so there is a growing interest in recruiting cats for breast cancer research.
What are the statistics for dogs getting cancer now these days? I mean, they're incredible, aren't they?
Yes, it's a very prevalent disease in dogs, and I think the estimate is that 1 out of 3 dogs will die of cancer. It is largely a disease of aging in dogs, much like it is in people, but there are some breeds that are quite prone to the disease and can develop it quite young, including golden retrievers.
I've heard about dogs and cats that can sniff out cancer. Have you ever heard of this?
Yes, I have a whole chapter on this actually, and it's really a very exciting branch of research. Many scientists around the world have proven that they can train dogs to detect tumors, and they can train them to smell the difference between cancerous tissue and normal tissue. And now there's an effort underway to actually translate that into diagnostic devices for early detection, because it wouldn't be too practical to have dogs, in every hospital in the world. So
why not?
That's the ideal.
Now, is treatment pretty much the same? Do our animals undergo the chemotherapy and radiation that humans do? Does it work the same on them?
They do undergo much of the same chemo and radiation that humans do. Surgery also can be quite effective in many of the cancers that dogs get. But actually, the very first cancer drugs approved for dogs have been approved quite recently in the last 5 or 10 years. So there's now an effort underway to tailor therapies for pets.
Now, this talks about how dogs help cure some of the cancers in human. Are we able to take that treatment and turn it around and help the dogs?
Yes, and in fact, there have been some companies that have developed two drugs side by side, one for dogs and one for people, based on the same science. And in fact, I have an example of that in my book. The first cancer drug ever approved for dogs. There is a version for people too.
The book is called Heal, The Vital Role of Dogs in the Search for Cancer Cures. The author, Arlene Weintraub, with us. Who is the book for? Is it for dog lovers that have dogs with cancer, dog lovers that don't have dogs with cancer?
Well, this is really a popular science book. I wrote this in layman's terms, and so it's for anybody who has an interest in cancer and cancer research and some of the developments that are being made there. It's definitely for dog people. Anybody who has experienced cancer in their dogs, I think, would get a lot out of this. But I think anybody who has experienced cancer in their families, as I have, would also find some hope in cancer research by reading this book.
Is that why you wrote the book? Because of family?
Yes, I was working as a science writer for Business Week back in 2009 when I found out about this whole field of research from two veterinarians at Texas A&M University. I was a science writer, and they came to talk about how doctors and veterinarians were working together to develop new cancer treatments. And at the time, my sister was battling gastric cancer, and she ultimately lost that battle. And I was feeling kind of hopeless, but come from a family of dog lovers and got really captivated by this idea that dogs might help us in this war on cancer.
I've lost both my parents to cancer, so we need a cure.
Right.
And this starts a great conversation about how animals can be involved in our healing, a conversation that a lot of people have discovered mostly in the way of therapy animals. Heal, The Vital Role of Dogs in the Search for Cancer Cures. I have 10 copies to give away right now at 1-866-405-8405. If you're not lucky enough to get on through, head on over to Amazon or your local bookstore and ask for it. The book called Heal, the author, Arlene Weintraub. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
We're going to head back to the phones for your calls. Toll free, 1-866-405-8405 next.
You're listening to Animal Radio. Call the Dream Team now at 1-866-405-8405.
This is Greg Biffle on Animal Radio, and remember to spay and neuter your pets.
It gives me great honor to present to you the dog father, Joey Villani. Hey, how you doing? How you doing?
Sap. Are you a sap? Let me just say, are you a sap? Because the reason why I asked that is I got an email from someone, and I don't know. We didn't really have to deal with it too much in northern New Jersey, but in southern New Jersey, in the Pine Barrens, they had to deal with dogs getting into tree sap.
Oh.
And I'll tell you what, for years, the only way to get it out was to cut it out. And then we found out some really simple, easy methods here. So depending on, because a lot of dogs like to roll in it, and what ends up happening is everything sticks to it. It's the best glue in the world that never comes off. But if you just take olive oil.
Olive oil?
And you put just olive oil, okay? Because you know what? Oils break down oils, and tree sap is mainly an oil. So if you take olive oil and you apply it to the areas, let it sit on for a good 10 to 15 minutes, and then go with a rag, and it'll pull basically right off the coat.
Oh, wow.
Almost like magic. But then I got an oily dog, so then you got to bathe your dog. And anytime you use oil, I've said this a million times, shampoo first, water second, and you'll have no problems, and you'll have a de-sap. You won't have a sap anymore. You'll have a dog.
Now, can you use other oils like mineral oil?
You absolutely can. Now, the reason why I'm saying olive oil, because I use mineral oils on a lot of things. But
it smells good.
Yeah, plus you're
Well,
Italian.
it smells great. There you go. But what I'm finding out is there's a lot of things now that they're putting, especially if you go to the dollar store and you buy that mineral oil, and there's a lot of additives that are to it and that are in it. And I don't know how that's going to affect your pet's coat anymore. So, be safe. It's a little bit more expensive, but you have a tasty dog. Let's put it that way.
Hey, Joey, when you say shampoo first, water second, does that mean don't even wet the dog to put the shampoo on it?
Yeah, because when you wet the dog, it makes a barrier, and so now that oil it will hold itself to the coat. So what you do is it's almost like clothing. If you get a grease stain, they tell you put a little detergent on first and then throw it in the wash. It's really the same idea.
There you go.
Hey, well, that would also work like on my hands, because every time I get the Christmas tree, I'm always all sappy and sticky, and I can never get that.
Oh,
off
absolutely.
my hands.
Yeah, absolutely. Remember,
That's right.
oil breaks down oil.
Oil breaks down oil. Okay, there you go.
Oil.
The dog father, Joey Villani, right here on Animal Radio. Good tip.
You're listening to Animal Radio. Call the Dream Team now at 1-866-405-8405.
This is
Animal Radio. This portion of Animal Radio is underwritten by Stella and Chewy's. We all know pets thrive when they're fed the same food they'd get in the wild, and meal mixers are an easy, convenient way to add raw, nutrient-rich meat, wholesome fruits, vegetables, probiotics, and antioxidants to your pet's diet. I encourage you to learn more over at StellaandChewy's.com, and thank you so much, guys, for underwriting Animal Radio. Hi, Samantha. How are you?
Hi, I'm great. Thanks for taking my call.
Where are you today?
We're in San Antonio, Texas.
Beautiful.
It's a beautiful day down here.
Oh, I bet. It's like one of the only places in the country that's beautiful today.
Yeah, I know. I feel sorry for everyone up in the cold right now.
Well, tell us, what's going on with your animals? How can we help?
Well, we've got two wonderful labs that we absolutely adore. But
Yay!
I know, they're the best. But our 3-year-old black lab, Tua, has developed a taste for cat poop.
Oh, yes. It's wonderful fun in the dog world.
It started about a few months ago, and I've also noticed that she's gaining weight as well. So
Okay.
I'm wondering if it has something to do, we just moved to a new house, and there's a lot of cats around, and I'm not sure what's going on.
So is this poop from outside then, or from one of your kitties?
No, we don't have cats.
Okay, so it's outside. All right. Well, I mean, the phenomenon of eating poop is always an area of contention because we cannot, as humans, understand the motivation for this. But honestly, it's a good, fun thing that dogs enjoy, and we can't understand it. In many cases, it is really just kind of a bad habit, something they find some pleasure in. The medical side of things, whether or not there is some medical reason for a dog to do this, there's some. They're not terribly common. Usually it is behavioral problems. But we do look at things like parasitism. We look at anything that might be causing any kind of more weight loss. But there are some types of cancers that can cause weight loss in a pet to eat things inappropriately, what we call pica, where not only eating poop, but they might eat other things, other objects around the house that they wouldn't normally. That might be more of a sign of something medical. So, if you haven't had your pet checked out recently, probably a good idea just to make sure we get a good, clean bill of health. But otherwise, you're kind of faced with the challenge of keeping doggies away from what I call kitty almond roca, which in the litter pan, that's kind of how they look. Outside, it's a little bit harder because you can't necessarily keep those neighbors' cats or the feral cats out of your pet's access areas. And you have you have feral cats around you? Are they neighbors, or do you know?
They could be, yeah. I'm sure they're a little bit of both.
Okay.
But the weight gain is what's concerning me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and any weight gain that's unexpected in a dog, whether or not they're eating poop, I would say I would make sure we look into a thyroid problem. And Labradors do like to be a breed that can develop some thyroid problems. So that would be probably number one based off of the weight gain that I would look at. Otherwise, we can also see some issues with food intolerances, where a dog doesn't do really well on a particular food. Maybe they're not digesting it well. It can affect their stool quality. They can produce gassiness. And in those situations, we might see a dog that nibbles on some feces. Cat, dog, otherwise. So that could be something, too, where sometimes like a diet change can actually help out behavior of eating poop from someone else. So we might want to even consider modifying the diet and going either to a hypoallergenic diet.
She's on all organic, holistic. And I just recently made that switch. She was on Nutro, and then we switched. They created an organic product that we switched to. So
did that coincide with when this behavior started?
Yes, actually, kind of did.
It did. Okay.
But I can't imagine organic being having more calories in it or anything like that, would it?
Well, it certainly could, yeah. And I know a lot of the some of the boutique pet stores by me, some of the calorie density is very different in some of the organic diets. So it could be this diet change that caused that. But even getting back to this kind of the feces eating thing too, organic doesn't always mean better. It just means it's different, and the foodstuffs go through a different kind of certification, if you will. But it might just be that we need to switch back to that other diet, see how everything else stabilizes. But I would definitely say you're a Labrador lover, get your baby checked for a thyroid problem, too, and that will give me a little bit more peace of mind on that weight gain thing.
You know, just because people say organic, that's just such a big misconception these days. It doesn't mean that it's lower in calories or that it's fat-free or that it's a healthier food. It just means that it was grown organically. And it's usually cost a little bit more for that pleasure, too.
Right, absolutely. And there's nothing necessarily wrong with organic. I mean, I think it's a great thing, but if it's not working for your dog, then, time to look elsewhere.
1-866-405-8405 to talk to anyone on the Dream Team right now. Audrey, how you doing?
Probably a silly question. I have been told that the smaller parrots have a mentality of about a 2-year-old and the larger ones of about a 5-year-old. Well, I go out of town on drive-in on Saturday, and I usually take my Sun Conure, small parrot, with me. And if I don't take her on Saturday, well, when I come home, she screams at me, and it's different than through the week. I work nights. So I'm there in the daytime, but occasionally I work in the daytime also through the week. And when I come home, if I work in the daytime through the week, she's just thrilled to see me and want to kiss me, and she's all excited. But on Saturday, it's like she's mad at me and screams at me. Is it possible that she knows? Now, of course, she doesn't know it's Saturday, but is it possible that she knows at so many days or whatever that she goes with me, and if I don't take her, she's mad at me?
Well, birds, and this will get a little sticky here, this conversation, because there's a lot of people that would argue that animals have the same feelings we do. But I would say that for definite, what she's doing is she has a pattern of learned behavior. And she may not know it's Saturday, but she knows that she's not as happy when you're not with her and she's not with you. So she may demonstrate some of that. I don't know if I could call it pouting or, those type of human words. But, if she doesn't have the same social stimulation, she doesn't have the same activity or mental stimulation, she might be acting funny. And, does she have feelings? Is she telling you that she's ticked off? That is the argument that animal behaviorists, pet owners would probably bonk heads on, because you ask any pet owner and they'll say that their pet feels the same feelings that we do. And I'd have to agree on that to some point. But the big question is, does she really understand what she's doing and trying to get even with you? I don't know about that. That's a tough call. To some degree, I think she's probably working you, just to make you feel bad. But, the humans in the household have to set the pattern of behavior and the rules. And, that's why we are the humans.
Well, someone said I have a perpetual 2-year-old for 30 years.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Most animals are that way.
You're listening to Animal Radio. Call the Dream Team now at 1-866-405-8405. Celebrating the connection with our pets. This is Animal Radio, featuring your dream team, veterinarian Dr. Debbie White and groomer Joey Villani. And here are your hosts, Hal Abrams and Judy Francis.
Toll free, 1-866-405-8405. That's the number to Dr. Debbie or to dog father Joey Villani if you have a pet question. I believe that even Ladybug, the studio stunt dog, is back taking calls again today for your dogs if they just want to call in and
say hi. Say woof.
Woof.
Yeah.
And don't forget, you can also ask your questions from the free Animal Radio app for iPhone and Android. And it also will give you the latest recalls and the news that really affect you and your pet. So go download that right now. This hour, Kim Sill. Actress Kim Sill. She was just on, 6 months ago?
Yeah, about 6 months ago.
And she's the one that went undercover in the puppy mills with a camera, and that the movie called, Saved in America?
Mm-hmm.
She created that movie. Now she's up to something completely different. I'm sure it's genius and brilliant.
She's a big activist.
She is. She really is.
And she doesn't just talk the talk. She walks the walk.
She really does. She's hands in, really gets involved in everything that she does. And also genius is our Lori Brooks, working so hard in the newsroom, always here before we ever get here, finding the news that you need to know about or want to know about. What do you have this hour?
Well, I was surfing around on the internet, and one of my favorite sites is the Cornell University Veterinary Medicine School. And they had a blog posting about what is the big deal about white cats with blue eyes, because the public keeps getting confused on what exactly is, maybe the handicap that these cats have.
Doesn't that mean they're blind?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
You're adding to the confusion there.
Yes, you are. You're part of the problem, Hal. Be part of the solution.
That's it.
Okay, well, we'll find out what that all means in just a few minutes right here on Animal Radio. Let's hit the phones. Well, hi, Maureen. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Good. Where are you calling from today?
Reading, Pennsylvania.
Well, how can we help you?
I have the sweetest little girl. She's 5 years old, and she started eating at my rug.
She's eating your rug?
I don't know how to stop her. Pardon me?
You said she's eating your rug?
She's eating at a brand new rug. Yes, that's what I said. Yes. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Is it a throw rug or like a wall-to-wall carpeting?
It's an area rug, doctor. Yes.
Okay, it's an area rug. Okay. And how old is she?
She's 5.
And she's 5.
And she used to do this to my bathroom rug, so I close the bathroom door every day when I go to work. And now I bought a brand new rug that has wool in it, and I come home every night, and there's pieces of the rug that are pulled up. I think she's doing it with her feet and then maybe with her mouth.
Okay. All right. Well, there's several parts of the solution that we need to look at when we have a dog that's chewing at rugs, particularly area rugs, because a lot of times there's the number one thing is opportunity. If a dog has the opportunity to find these things, and we know they have a tendency to get into this kind of trouble, that's the first thing is ways that we can help to limit their access, like shutting the bathroom door, are very important. Because the more she does that behavior, it actually is kind of self-rewarding. There's enjoyment that she finds from that.
Correct. Okay.
So that's one thing. So physical blocking of the areas. A large dog, you may not have as much luck with doggy gates. But the other steps are really going to be training related. So for me, I would look at, you have a herding breed that is high energy. So a lot of times this becomes out of a boredom activity. So really amping up the physical exercise can do so much to decrease destructive tendencies in our dogs. And it's kind of like, if you imagine a bunch of teenagers sitting around, what can we get into? We're going to, let's go throw rocks at the wall, or at the windows. They have a lot of energy. They want to do something. And if we don't give them a direction, put them in sports or something like that, they're going to look for something to do. And our dogs are the same way. A lot of people make fun that dogs aren't children, but in a lot of ways they are. So finding an opportunity for her to get some kind of exercise. So getting her out playing frisbee. If she likes to do herding things, she can get into agility. Going out to dog parks or doggy daycare, ways to burn down that energy candle. And you'll have a better success in dealing with something like a home destructive problem. The third thing that I really look at is really at redirecting that behavior. And this kind of goes along with boredom, too, because dogs want to chew. It's a natural instinct. It's something they're going to do. We just got to give them the right tools and the right outlet for that. So I like looking at a lot of the, if you've got a medium or large size dog, we have to get creative and find large, safe toys that we can put, like the doggy cheese. We can take peanut butter in, the little like Kong-style toys, and you can put them in the freezer and then pull those out. And that gives her something to work on, something to kind of have an oral fixation, if you will, so that she can gnaw and chew on those kind of things. I think that three-pronged approach, you'll have a lot more success at dealing with this. The other side of things would be giving some correction if you're catching her in the act, and that can only be done if you're catching her at the act, and that would be done appropriately with giving her an outlet immediately afterwards. So, you see her gnawing on the rug, you give her a verbal no, hey, look at this is great, and then you make a big deal out of, the toy or the chew item that you provide for her, and giving her a lot of reward when she does chew on that and plays with it in that way. So, but yeah, I think you do need to, whether it's pulling the rug up or making sure you can control her access to that area rug is going to be very important, or you're going to find yourself beating your head against the wall.
Yeah, okay. I thank you.
Hey, thanks for your call.
My pleasure.
1-866-405-8405 to reach out to the Dream Team right now. And don't forget, you can ask your questions directly from the Animal Radio app for iPhone and Android. Oh, and I wanted to tell you that Dr. Debbie's books, if you happen to have a Yorkshire Terrier, Shih Tzu, a Pug, or a Mini Schnauzer, if you haven't checked out her books yet, come on. How to Be Your Dog's Best Friend. They're Kindle books over at Amazon, and we have links over at animalradio.com. Good reads for you. For Dr. Debbie, we have Billy on the phone. Hi, Billy.
Hi.
How are you?
How are you? I'm good. How are you today?
Good. What's going on?
Thanks for taking my call. I'm calling regarding two little teacup chihuahuas that I adopted back in June. They got all the vaccinations, and I noticed now they have a spot on each of their hind legs, exact same spot, and it's bald with no hair.
Oh, okay.
And I'm really concerned. My vet says it looks like it's a reaction from the vaccinations. I don't believe they've had any shots. They were in pretty poor condition, and I just want some reassurance, hoping that, is this common, or will the hair grow back? Are they going to turn completely bald, or?
Yeah, and Billy, I would have to tell you, I don't often say this, but being from Vegas, I will say I will bet my money on this.
Okay.
that I will agree with your veterinarian that what you're describing certainly sounds like a localized vaccine reaction, and it's for a couple reasons. When we give vaccinations in dogs, the protocol for most veterinary offices is we keep track of where those are given, and we try to give them in a standardized location. And the right rear leg is kind of the unofficial location of where we give the rabies vaccination. And I do find that some of the short-hair dogs, some Chihuahuas being one of those, sometimes Pit Bulls, Min Pins, things like that, they sometimes have a more notable vaccine reaction in this area. And maybe it's because their hair is really thin and we notice it and they're not a real furry dog.
Right.
But it is what we term a localized vaccine reaction. And it's usually doesn't appear necessarily right away after a vaccine. It can happen weeks.
Yeah.
I've even seen it months later. So some dogs will have a little lump right at the site where the injection's given, and that's not unusual. That's pretty typical. And what happens after any vaccine is the body forms an immune reaction to it, and that's normal. But there are some pets where they just go awry, and something either in the vaccine or within their own body just doesn't sit well with it, and they'll develop sometimes a little redness, hair loss, and then eventually it's just kind of smooth, and it looks quiet. There's nothing going on there.
Right, exactly.
So,
that's exactly how it looks. And they do have, like I said, there's a little scar tissue. She can feel it underneath the skin.
Yeah.
And,
so it is just cosmetic at this point. So it really is nothing at this point that is going to pose a risk to them. But so the hair is not going to grow back. And I have had an occasional client that asks me to do a little what we call a scar revision if they're bothered by the aesthetics of it, and we can just treat it like a tumor and remove that area skin. But really, it's not necessary. So.
Oh, okay. Okay,
So,
well,
yeah.
I just wanted to make sure they weren't going to go completely bald.
No.
But
I
they
will.
seem happy. Their activity is the same. It's just, one right away I noticed, thin hair. The hair was very thin. And then a month or so later, the other dog, that's when I really was concerned. I thought maybe they have ringworm something. And they've had tests, blood work, skin scrapings, everything.
Mm-hmm.
And, just to be certain that it's not mice or something else.
Exactly. And there are sometimes, I do feel that we see this sometimes between a dog and maybe particular vaccines, different brands of vaccines, we might see it more often. In over the almost 20 years I've been practicing, I would say in the past years, I saw more of this than I do now. And we've kind of modified what companies and what brands we use, and I'm very comfortable where we're at right now. But if we knew what vaccine they had and what brand or manufacturer, we might try to avoid that, because it would be the potential that this could happen again.
Right.
So just keep that in mind. And it might be well worth it if your veterinarian offers you different options, either a recombinant vaccine, which is kind of a little bit more advanced type vaccine, or some other types that, it might be a better choice for your baby so this doesn't happen.
Right. Oh, okay. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time. Thank you. I feel so much better.
Well, good. And give those babies a good pat on the head for us.
I will. Thank you so much.
1-866-405-8405, toll free to the Dream Team. Yum Yum, this healthy serving of Animal Radio, brought to you by the grain-free Red Barn Naturals canned food for dogs and cats. Always made in the USA with natural, functional ingredients to support your pet's optimal health. I speak from experience, ladies and gentlemen. It's available at redbarninc.com. And thanks, guys, for underwriting Animal Radio. Let's go to line 4, where we have Dean on the phone. Hi, Dean.
Hello, how you doing?
Good. What's going on in your world?
I have 2 Siberian Huskies. One's a 8-month-year-old and one's a year and 8-month-year-old. And the 8-month-year-old, she just went into heat about maybe 2 weeks ago. And the 1 and 8-month-year-old is just going crazy.
He's a boy, I take it?
What's that?
He's a boy?
Yes, he's a boy, and the 8-month-old is a girl.
Okay, and they're not, and he's not neutered then, huh?
No, they're both not neutered. I'm going to breed them when she gets of age. I asked the vet already, and she said it was kind of too early for her to have puppies, because she might not show interest in the puppies if she has them. So I've been trying to keep them away, but the 1 and 8-month-year-old is just driving me nuts. And I was just wondering if there's anything that I can give him to settle him down.
Well, don't underestimate the call of the wild here. That's going to be the honest truth here. And having a unneutered male in the house or in the vicinity of an intact female is, in many cases, it's torture. I've had dogs that board that will not eat the whole time they are in the same building as a female in heat. They can really just get that stressed out and really get them worked up. So if I can't talk you into spaying this girl, because that'll be the best thing I could recommend for her sake, to help prevent reproductive problems and cancers, I would say is that you get another 2 whole weeks at least of kind of dealing with this. And I have found that sedatives can be used, but they don't typically help, because they're still sensing those hormones and they're still going to react. It may make them a little bit quieter and may kind of slow down some of his intentions, but it's not going to stop his responses. So for many cases, I'll actually do a physical separation. So call your aunt, your grandma, your brother, and say, hey, can I put my male dog up at your house for another couple weeks? That would be the kindest thing I could say for both, and it'd be the truest way to make sure you don't get an accidental breeding. Because there are dogs that will open doors to get to the female in heat on the other side. So be cautious.
I work at night, and I have a fence all around my property, and it's like 8 foot high. And he's been jumping over the fence, and I've been getting calls at my work at night. I work on the freeways as a construction worker at night. They call me and say, hey, your dog got out. Neighbor brought him back. I'm like, holy moly, man. So it's just been driving me crazy. But it's not bad for his heart to be in so much stress every day, every minute of the day.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think the best thing would be to get him out of that environment.
Okay.
Can you keep him in the same house? Yeah, you probably can. Is it going to cause him a lot of stress? Yeah, absolutely. And I don't think that sedatives are going to really stop that. So, yeah. And I definitely agree with your veterinarian's, recommendation to not want to breed her. She's still a baby. She's really just a little teenager right now. So, for her size and growth, she's still got some growing to do in the next 6 months. So I would agree we wouldn't want to, allow her to get pregnant at this time in the game.
Yeah, would it harm her if she happened to mate?
Well, I mean, we definitely know that we can have less maternal responses. We can sometimes have lower litter sizes. So it's really not in her best interest. And I would say I would do everything you can to get this girl spayed. To get her to not be pregnant at this time in the game.
Yeah, I was thinking about spading her maybe after 2 litters, but how would that go on her being such being an older dog to get spayed? Would that hurt her at all?
No, I mean, there's not a dog that's too old to get spayed just based on age alone. Now, health conditions and things like that are certainly a concern, and maybe in an older age pet. But we just spayed a dog that was 10, 11 years old the other day, and there's still a lot of health benefits from doing that at any point in the game. But we prefer to do it before they get older, before they go through those heat cycles, to minimize the risk of breast cancer, uterine cancer, ovarian cancer, all that stuff.
Okay, doctor. Thank you very much for answering my question.
1-866-405-8405 to connect with the Dream Team.
You're listening to Animal Radio. Call the Dream Team now at 1-866-405-8405.
Recently, Verizon had to use tiny red balls to try to make you think they had a much better network than Sprint. But there's one big thing they left out. The new Sprint LTE Plus network delivers faster download speeds than Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile. While Verizon seems to be focused on tiny balls, Sprint has been obsessively focused on building the network of the future. And to celebrate, Sprint is cutting their rates in half. Switch to Sprint and save 50% on most Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile rates. You get the new Sprint LTE Plus network with faster download speeds than Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile. And we'll even cover your cost to switch, up to $650 per line. Only from Sprint. Better for less.
Claim based on Sprint's analysis of average LTE download speeds using Nielsen and MP data. Speeds may vary. Offer coverage not available everywhere. Excludes taxes, surcharges, add-on, and premium content. Subject to new line port activation fee and credit. See website for eligible plans. Savings through 1/8/18 after pay full amount. Restrictions apply. Buy up for your reward card after online registration and phone turn-in.
For over 75 years, Geico's been about consistency, as in we've consistently helped people save money on their car insurance. And to prove it, we'll air one of our first radio commercials from over 75 years ago.
At Geico, we're all about consistency, as in we consistently help people save money on their car insurance. To prove it, you can call Geico. Call us today, call us tomorrow, call us 75 years from now.
That was way more consistent than I expected.
Geico, saving people money for over 75 years.
Stella and Chewy's believes that selecting the best food is one of the most important decisions an owner can make for their pet. We believe that pets thrive when they're fed the same diet they'd get in the wild. Dogs and cats are carnivores, and meal mixers are a quick and convenient way to mix a little raw nutrition and great taste into their diet. Made from premium raw ingredients like grass-fed meat and cage-free poultry with organic fruits and vegetables. Meal mixers help kickstart your kibble. Learn more at StellaandChewy's.com.
I'm Beth Stern on Animal Radio and adopt from your local shelter.
You're listening to Animal Radio. If you missed any part of today's show, visit us at animalradio.com or download the Animal Radio app for iPhone and Android.
It's Animal Radio. Just a whole bunch of crazy animal lovers is what you've tuned in. Hopefully you're one too. I can tell you we just got off the phone with Judy Guth. We talked to her last year. She was the landlord that only accepts animals at her place. You got to have a pet
in her apartment building,
in her complex.
Yes.
She has a complex there, and if you don't have an animal, you're not allowed in.
Yep, and if you don't have an animal and you want one, she'll take you to go
shelter,
get one.
Get an animal. I love that.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
In just a few minutes, we're going to be visiting with Kim Sill, actress Kim Sill, with the Shelter Hope Pet Shop and another genius idea she has. So stick around for that. We're also going to go to the phones, toll free at 1-866-405-8405. Lori Brooks, what do you have coming up this hour?
Well, you were just talking about how difficult it is, when it comes to having a pet and then finding a place to rent. It's nearly impossible. But one of the biggest cities in the country is now taking action with landlords to turn that around.
I heard about that. They want to make it mandatory in the city.
They're talking about, they've got quite a few things on the burner that they're considering, but I'll also tell you about another city in the country that's a big, big city that is totally the opposite, where more than 90% of places that are available, you are allowed to have a pet. So if you're lucky, you'll live there.
That is one of the biggest problems we hear about, is people just unfriendly landlords. And I can understand, having been a landlord, I know what animals can do to a place. But I also know that if you can make a place comfortable for somebody, when they have their animals, they'll stay there longer. They'll be better tenants.
Yep. Right.
Yeah. So, okay. Well, that's on the way with Lori Brooks in just a few minutes.
Dogs or cats, horse or emu, animals are people too. A stolen cockatoo's big mouth helped reunite him with his rightful owner. 2 years ago, Diane Bagley set Corey the cockatoo in his cage on the back porch. Someone then stole Corey the cockatoo from her Shreveport, Louisiana home. 2 years later, Bagley was talking about Corey to a visitor who recalled hearing a cockatoo saying his signature catchphrase, which was, "I love you, Corey." Bagley then called the police and told Detective Kay Ward what she had learned. Ward wasn't sure she had the correct address until she approached a home in the mobile home park and heard a bird inside squawking, "I love you, Corey." Bagley and her bird had a tearful reunion. I'm Britt Savage for Animal Radio. Animals are people too. Animal Radio.
This is an Animal Radio News Update, brought to you by Doctors Foster and Smith Pet Pharmacy, with prescription medications and over-the-counter products like Advantix flea and tick medication delivered right to your door. Learn more at fosterandsmith.com.
I'm Lori Brooks. Have you ever had to search for a home or an apartment to rent that would allow you to have a pet? Yeah, it is nearly impossible to find almost everywhere, including Los Angeles, where 62% of the rental units do not accept any pets. Now, the LA City Council has voted to make some changes in hopes of making landlords more open to accepting pets in their properties, with the eventual goal of reducing the number of animals who live in shelters. The goal is to reduce the number of animals living in those kill shelters, which is dramatically high, especially in Los Angeles for a no-kill city. But check out this amazing comparison, will you? Where 62% of Los Angeles rental properties refuse animals altogether, 98% of properties in Denver, they accept cats, and 93% accept small dogs. So yay for Denver. Because of a constant confusion, the Veterinary College at Cornell University wants to set the record straight on pure white cats that have blue eyes. Seems a lot of people think the white cats, because we're talking about the blue eyes, they think that the white cats are blind or are more likely to go blind, but that is not the case. The white cats with blue eyes are actually more likely to be deaf. They say, here are the facts. Not all white cats with blue eyes are even born deaf, but some of them are, according to research, which has shown that between 65 and 85% of pure white cats with both blue eyes are hearing impaired. Now, that drops to 40% if the cat has one blue eye, and then to 17% if the cat is pure white but does not have blue eyes. But you should note, they say deaf cats are happy and healthy, though they should be kept indoors and keep them out of situations where their safety depends on their ability to pick up auditory cues. Well, most cats hate winter weather as much as some of us do. And one cat in the country of Serbia decided to take action and then found his way into, of all things, the warmth of a stuffed animal claw game vending machine as he tried to escape the 2 degree below zero temperatures outside. The cat was actually quite content with his new warm surroundings and comfy bed until, that is, police and fire crews were able to get him safely out of the machine. I'm Lori Brooks. Get more breaking animal news anytime at animalradio.com.
This has been an Animal Radio News Update brought to you by Doctors Foster and Smith Pet Pharmacy, with everyday low prices on products like Quellin and Rimadyl delivered right to your door with a 100% satisfaction guarantee. Learn more at fosterandsmith.com.
Doctors Foster and Smith Pet Supplies have a Vet VIPPS accredited online pharmacy covering all your pet's needs, from heartworm medications and anti-inflammatories like Rimadyl to non-prescription items like Canine Advantix Flea and Tick Preventive. Doctors Foster and Smith has your pet covered. We'll even contact your vet for you, all with a 100% satisfaction guarantee. Low prices every day with free shipping on orders over $49. Shop online at fosterandsmith.com because your pet's health and happiness come first.
Did you know canine caviar diets are formulated with common health concerns in mind, such as diabetes, cancer, and kidney disease? You see, canine caviar uses low GI carbs, which reduce hunger and prolong physical endurance, free of GMO, gluten, hormones, steroids, and antibiotics. Canine Caviar's 5-star dog and cat foods are the only alkaline-based foods in the world, and that promotes a healthy lifestyle for your furry family. Find out more at caninecaviar.com.
This is
Animal Radio.
You know, I've been taking yoga, and I don't know how these women do it. I am so freaking sore.
Got to stretch beforehand.
You know, you should do yoga with your cats.
Or your dog.
Really?
Yeah. Every morning it relaxes me. That's why I'm so relaxed, Mike.
The yoga studio don't let my dogs in.
Hey, you know who we have on the phone? We have actress Kim Sill. She was here about 6 months ago. We were talking about this film that she did. She went undercover into puppy mills. And she's back now with the Shelter Hope Pet Shop. This is really cool. They have these like adoption areas inside of malls, which I think is like the latest thing. It's a great way to adopt out animals. Hi, Kim.
Hi, how are you guys doing?
Very good. What are you up to lately?
Well, like you just said, we are creating Shelter Hope Pet Shops in a mall in America near you. We have 3 locations now, and we've saved 2,000 death row dogs in these locations. One's in Sacramento,
yes.
One's in Santa Clarita, and the one that I operate is in Thousand Oaks.
Okay, so where do these animals come from that you find in the Shelter Hope Pet Shop?
Okay, primarily the ones in Thousand Oaks come from the Los Angeles area, San Bernardino, Devore, Pomona. The Santa Clarita shop focuses on the Castaic area and the Lancaster area.
Now, are they shelters in these areas that they come from?
Yes.
And they're death row animals?
Yes.
I love
and
that.
Yeah, those are some of the worst shelters.
Yeah, we try to pull the ones that are at risk. The whole purpose of Shelter Hope is to actually help animals get shown that would otherwise, a lot of people don't want to go to the shelter. It's a sad place. So we move them out of there, move them into malls where people are either going there to see a movie, they're happy, they're shopping, and all of a sudden they stumble upon these cute dogs looking at them through the window.
Genius.
Yep.
So what happens to the ones that don't get adopted that day? Are they there? Are they kept there overnight for any length of time?
Yeah.
Or?
Fortunately, we've been able to partner with boarding facilities in the area. The dogs do not stay at the mall overnight. We have fosters. We have people that are willing to volunteer to drive them to the fosters or to drive them to the boarding facilities so that all the dogs get to go home to a warm, comfy bed.
Well, this is all happening in Los Angeles, which is great. It's a big city that definitely needs it, but our reach for us is nationwide, and this is a very small percentage of our audience. How do we get these kind of adoption stores open across the country?
Well, as you can hear my dog say, hey, no, it's available across the nation, and it is.
Okay.
I am willing, through my nonprofit, which is shelterhopepetshop.org, we are willing to sponsor the first year of insurance and help find a location for anybody across the nation that is a qualified 501c3 and willing to do it the way that we do it. We consider it a franchise. We gift them the franchise. And then once they're up and running, they can either train with us or talk to us on a daily basis. Both of the stores that I am working with, I'm talking to them 3-4 times a day.
So what kind of animals do you adopt out? Is it just dogs and cats, or are there other animals as well?
We started out doing bunnies as well as dogs and cats, but now we just invite the bunny rescues to come in. The cat rescues come in once a month and show their kittens and cats. And then we do dogs, all different types of breeds of dogs, 5 days a week at my location, 7 days a week in the Santa Clarita and Sacramento locations.
Okay. Awesome. It is an incredibly genius, brilliant idea. And for people that don't understand the concept here, when you go to a shelter to adopt an animal, first of all, you have to go to a regular building that's usually located in the most undesirable part of the city because it's usually part of the city government. And you go into these shelters and it becomes incredibly depressing, and many people stay away from the shelters because of this. To put these animals front and center where the people are, it's like an impulse item, but not really an impulse. I don't want to say that because no animal should ever be an impulse item. But you're there doing something.
You're right. You are so right. Impulse is a good word because even with a shelter dog, you don't want to adopt it upon impulse. But the nice thing is, seeing them in this environment, you don't have to adopt. There's so many other options you can do to help these animals. You can foster them. You can actually drive them to their foster. You can donate an old bed that maybe you're not using anymore. You can, bring in some printer ink for our printer because we have a list of items on our door every day that we are desperately in need of because we don't want to spend the money on those when we could be spending it on a shelter dog, getting them out of the shelter or taking them to the vet to get fixed. We also give back to the community. We provide free microchipping for anybody in the community that needs it. We offer free vaccinations once a month when our vet comes into the shop to vaccinate ours. If you're in need and need that done, we give back that way. So by giving back, we get a lot. And we didn't intend it to be that way. It's just that so happened how it ended up for us. And we've been very blessed. The community sustain us. And their communities across the nation, I believe, would do the same thing.
What if I wasn't planning on adopting a dog, but I fell in love with one and I wasn't prepared? Do you have supplies and stuff that I would need to bring a dog home with?
We send everybody home with a kennel. Every dog is leashed, has a harness and a tag and a microchip. We give you all of the bedding that the dog has been familiar with while he's been with us. We give you a bag of food. We give you treats, and we also give you some toys for the dog because we want people to understand what it's like to own a dog and that there's responsibilities attached. We also give you a free vet visit. We give you a free day at doggy day camp. Wow. We give you a free training session with the trainer. And we give you a free grooming.
Okay, so whatever city you're listening in today and you think this is just a great idea, you'd like to see it in your city, you're willing to help shelters get their act together and put this whole operation in their city?
Yes, they can email me. Tell me what you need. Tell me what locations you've seen that might work. We'll help you get it off the ground, and then it will be yours. It will be your sustainable nonprofit pet shop.
Okay, there you go.
Awesome.
The website is shelterhopepetshop.org. Shelterhopepetshop.org. And, of course, we'll put links to everything you've heard on today's show over at animalradio.com. Actress Kim Sill joining us. Thank you so much for spending time with us again.
Thank you, guys. Have a great day.
That lady is doing quite a lot of great stuff for the industry.
And she's an actress. I don't know where she has time to do it all.
You're listening to Animal Radio. If you missed any part of today's show, visit us at animalradio.com or download the Animal Radio app for iPhone and Android.
Hello, everyone. It's Robert Semro, your Pet World Insider, here with this week's Animal Radio Listomania. 5 things we can do to show our pets how much we love them. It's February and love is in the air. While you're showering loved ones with gifts, don't forget your pets. Number 1. Hugs, kisses, ear and belly rubs galore. Depending on the pet you have, you may use any of the aforementioned ways to show your pet you love them. Keep in mind, not every pet enjoys being hugged, but most do love getting some kind of petting, scratching, or rubbing. There's nothing like a good 10-minute belly rub session. It doesn't cost you a dime, but it's priceless for the pet that you're giving it to. Number 2. Engage your pet in one of their favorite activities till they say enough, which may be a very long time for some. Play ball until they say, if you want it, you fetch it. Or if you've got a pet that loves to go on long walks or hikes, make that your goal. And remember, it's not always about the length of the walk either. Sometimes it's the challenges, the abundant smells, or even just letting them lead the walk the way they want to. If you have an indoor pet, get creative and create an obstacle course or play stations to actively engage your pet for hours. They'll be enthralled by the effort you put in. Number 3, special treats. We all have a favorite meal, snack, or treat, and it's special for a reason because we don't give it to them every day. And often, it's not the healthiest meal or treat that they get either. But on a special occasion, let loose a little and live it up with their favorite treat. If possible, sneak some healthy, nutritious supplements or ingredients in and watch as your pet devours their favorite treat, even with a few added healthy ingredients. Also, make a game out of it and hide the treats, and you'll see the enjoyment and appreciation levels skyrocket. Number 4, make them a masterpiece. Or better yet, make a masterpiece with them. That's right, whether it's photographs, paintings, or just pencil art, find the time to get your pet's beauty and grace immortalized in a way that you can hang on your wall forever. One of the fun ways to make it truly special is to have them help create it. Grab a canvas, put some non-toxic acrylic paint on it, cover it with some see-through plastic sheeting, and let their inner artist shine. It's a great art piece and a wonderful storytelling piece as well. Number 5, take them to their favorite spot and be with them. That's right, put away the phone, put down the cup of coffee, and just be there with them. Watch them frolic, play, and genuinely love life. See the joy that your pet has and invite that into your heart. Our pets live in the moment, and it's a great lesson that they share with us daily. Whatever you do, it's just important to be the best you that you can be. No one's perfect, and our pets don't expect us to be. They truly just want our care, attention, and affection, as that is what they know love to truly be. Share your ways that you show your pets love with us on our Animal Radio Facebook page.
Hi, this is Elaine Boozler on Animal Radio. Stay and neuter your pets and some of your exes.
You're listening to Animal Radio. Find us at animalradio.com. Log on, learn more.
Dogs or cats, horse or emu, animals are people too.
Police in Cleveland have a new weapon on the war on drugs. And she only weighs 8 pounds. Midge, a Chihuahua Rat Terrier mix, is Cleveland's newest canine officer. Canine dogs are usually larger breeds, but Midge doesn't let that hold her back. She just passed her state-certified drug training test with high marks in finding marijuana. Her small size was actually an asset. She has a special talent for sniffing it out, using her tiny nose to get into small spaces. Her talents have landed her on numerous TV shows including CNN, MSNBC, and The Rachel Ray Cooking Show, where that talented nose of hers probably got a real workout. I'm Britt Savage for Animal Radio.
Animals are people too. Animal Radio.
You're listening to Animal Radio. Find us at animalradio.com. Log on, learn more.
It's Animal Radio, celebrating the connection with our pets. Toll free, 1-866-405-8405. And we'll come back to the phones in just a couple of seconds here. Guys, I have some bad news for you.
What?
Tomorrow is Valentine's Day.
Why is that bad news?
Well, yeah, what?
Jeez.
It's not really bad news, but if you're like me, you haven't done your shopping yet for Valentine's Day. So you're kind of last minute scrambling and you're going, what? Oh, thanks, Hal, for reminding me. Because we forget these kinds of things. But it actually is it's a fun holiday when we remember it. Not so much for the pets. There are a lot of actual dangers around Valentine's Day. And in fact, one of the days, like the day after Christmas and the day after Thanksgiving, where veterinarians tend to see more animals because they get into trouble. And we have Doc Halligan from the Lucy Pet Foundation with us. Hey, how you doing, Doc?
Hi, Hal and Judy. Thanks for having me.
So what kind of dangers do we have to deal with around Valentine's Day other than...
chocolate. Yeah, we know it's going to be chocolate.
Yeah. Everyone knows chocolate is bad. We'll get that one over with first. Obviously, dark chocolate is the most dangerous, and then milk, and then white. So whenever your pet gets into chocolate, call your vet, see if there's going to be a problem. But just try to avoid the chocolate and put them up where your pet can't get them, because they can smell them. And every year pets get into it, and some animals will actually die from eating like the baker's chocolate.
Yeah.
So people kind of are knowing that. But what people don't realize is, now, Hal, you could go buy your loved one a lingerie piece, which is very popular with the women. Okay. And so what happens is people don't understand that, especially if the woman has worn it. It's very tasty for your pet, believe it or not. I have taken leopard panties out of dogs. So I know firsthand that they will ingest garments like that, underwear, fancy things. I think people don't think in their wildest dream their pet would ever do that, but they will.
Yeah, because they get kind of discarded on the floor.
Yeah.
Correct.
They just,
what was
and
that?
It smells like mom.
Yeah. Dr. Debbie told us the one story about the lingerie that she had to remove, and it turns out that the lady who brought the dog in, lingerie removed, didn't even belong to her. So apparently the old man was having an affair or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So
the other thing, too, is anything small enough for your pet to put in their mouth is food for fodder for them, okay? So they love sparkly things. I have taken diamond earrings and diamond rings out of pets. So they will ingest those things. They'll play with them and then they just swallow them. So you have to be careful of sparkly things. The other thing people don't realize is plants. Plants can be toxic to the point where they can actually die, especially lilies for cats.
Okay.
But if you give your loved one a plant or flowers, just make sure that they're up high because it's new, and animals like to investigate their surroundings, and so plants would be part of that. Also,
I've got my cat would get it if it was up high.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right? Yeah, because they're just curious. Like, what is that? That's new.
Something new.
I got to investigate. Also, packaging material, if you're giving your loved one a present, and it has any type of packaging, yarn, string, that type of stuff, pets will ingest that as well. I know it seems incredible to humans that they will eat non-food objects, but every holiday, especially Valentine's Day, because I don't think a lot of people are talked to about the dangers of this holiday, candles. The other thing, if you have a lit candle, pets get burned by the candles. The most important thing you can do right now is make sure that your pet has a legible ID tag on it, and or microchip, because with the added commotion, you're running in and out. We do see a slight increase in pets over the holidays at the shelters.
Okay.
Yeah, that's so frustrating. I find lost dogs all the time with no ID on them. It's just frustrating. It's so easy to put a collar with a number or address on it.
It really is. It is. So, and the only last thing I want to say, which isn't just for Valentine's Day, but I had a dear friend whose beagle ingested a whole bottle of extra strength ibuprofen and did not survive.
Oh, my.
And it was just tragic to follow that story. And so, pets will eat things like that. So just make sure you have your medications just in an enclosed compartment where pets can't get to them.
Okay. There you go. Some Valentine's tips for you. Have a wonderful Valentine's Day. And guys, go out and get something. Don't forget about it, okay?
You still have time.
Yes, right.
LucyPetFoundation.org is the website. Doc Halligan.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Bye.
Yay.
Well, that's all we have time for today. It just went by so fast again. If you need your fix during the middle of the week, head on over to animalradio.com or download the Animal Radio app for iPhone and Android. Even better yet, okay? And then you can listen anytime you want and ask your questions anytime you want. I want to thank Kim Sill for joining us today. We had so much fun with her, and she's doing super work. If you want to learn more about it, head on over to our website at animalradio.com, and you'll find links to everything you heard on today's show. We'll catch you next week for more Animal Radio right here. Have a good one.
Bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. In fact, he says, meow.
Meow.
Always adopt, don't declaw.
This is Animal Radio Network.